You know that feeling, the one that arrives like a sudden, cool breeze on a humid afternoon. Your phone buzzes on the nightstand. It's a message from the friend you were supposed to meet in an hour. You've been dreading this moment all day, rehearsing excuses in your head, feeling the weight of the upcoming social interaction pressing down on your chest. You pick up the phone and there it is. "Hey, I'm feeling a bit under the weather. Can we reschedule for next week?" In an instant, the weight vanishes. A literal wave of relief washes over you, more intoxicating than any drink you would have had at that bar. You aren't sad, you aren't disappointed, you are, quite frankly, ecstatic. You toss the phone aside, sink deeper into your worn-out sofa, and breathe a sigh of satisfaction that feels like coming home to yourself. If this scenario sounds like your personal version of winning the lottery, then you've probably spent a lot of time wondering what is wrong with you. You've seen the Instagram stories of people clinking glasses under neon lights. You've heard the term boring whispered by relatives when you decline yet another family gathering. You've felt the quiet sting of guilt, wondering if you're wasting your youth or if you're becoming a hermit, disconnected from the pulse of the world. You are not malfunctioning, and you are certainly not antisocial. But here is the truth that society rarely tells you: you are not broken. In fact, your preference for the four walls of your home over the infinite chaos of the outside world is one of the most sophisticated defense mechanisms your brain has ever developed. We live in a culture that romanticizes the hustle, the nightlife, and the constant pursuit of new memories in crowded places. We are told that life happens out there. But for a specific group of us, life, real, deep, meaningful life, happens right here. In the quiet corners of our living rooms, under the warm glow of a lamp, surrounded by the things that don't demand anything from us. Today, we are going to peel back the layers of your nervous system to understand why staying in is your greatest form of self-care. We will explore how your brain processes dopamine differently, why your home is actually a high-tech charging station for your soul, and why your preference for solitude might actually be a sign of a superior inner world. We will break this down into three distinct types of home lovers, from the person who simply needs to protect their social battery, to the one who creates an environment of total control to survive a chaotic world. And finally, we will arrive at type 3, the inner alchemist. This is the twist you won't see coming, where we reveal why your weird habit of staying home is actually a hallmark of high emotional intelligence and creative depth. Before we dive into the science, I want you to take a deep breath and let go of the shame. If you are watching this from your bed, in your favorite pajamas, with no intention of seeing another human being today, congratulations. You are exactly where you need to be. Your brain isn't failing you, it's protecting you. This is the psychology of why you love staying home, and it's time you finally felt seen. To understand why you crave your own space, we first have to look at the first type of home lover, the battery saver. This is the most common reason people choose the sofa over the social scene, and it's rooted in something called the optimal arousal theory. Every single one of us has a sweet spot for stimulation, a level of noise, activity, and social interaction that makes us feel alive and productive. For some, that sweet spot is found in a crowded concert or a high-stakes meeting. But for you, that sweet spot is much, much lower. When you are out in the world, your brain is constantly scanning. You are processing the tone of a stranger's voice, the flickering of neon lights, the unpredictable movement of traffic, and the subtle facial expressions of everyone you're talking to. For many, this isn't just living, it's a high-speed data download that your nervous system wasn't built to sustain for long. While an extrovert might find this influx of data energizing, literally getting a hit of dopamine from the chaos, your brain is different. Research suggests that introverts and home lovers are actually more sensitive to dopamine. Because you are more sensitive, you don't need much of it to feel good. In fact, too much of it feels like a physical assault on your senses. This is why, after 2 hours at a party, you feel a very specific kind of fatigue. It isn't a physical tiredness in your muscles, it's a cognitive grey out. Your words start to fail you. Your smile feels forced, like a mask that is getting heavier by the minute. In this state, your home stops being just a building. It becomes a charging station. Every minute you spend in silence, without the demand to perform or respond, your battery slowly ticks back up. You aren't being lazy. You are literally waiting for your brain's chemistry to recalibrate. But then there is the second type, the control architect. This goes deeper than just energy levels. This is about the fundamental need for safety and predictability. For many people who love staying home, the outside world feels like a place where they have no agency. Out there, the music is too loud, the chairs are uncomfortable, the temperature is never right, and people might ask you questions you aren't ready to answer. It is a world of uncontrollable variables. For the highly sensitive person, or those who navigate life with high levels of anxiety, this lack of control is exhausting. It keeps the nervous system in a state of high alert, as if you are walking through a jungle full of hidden predators. But at home? At home, you are the architect. You decide exactly how bright the room is. You choose the scent of the candle. You pick the texture of the blanket against your skin. This is what psychologists call low stimulation preference. When you stay home, you are creating a curated sanctuary where your nervous system can finally drop its guard. This control isn't a luxury or a sign of being picky. It is a vital survival strategy. When you are in your own space, your brain's amygdala, the part responsible for the fight or flight response, finally goes quiet. Think about the physical boundary of your front door. For the control architect, turning that key is like closing a massive iron shield against the noise of the universe. But now we reach the most misunderstood group of all. The ones society often labels as lonely or isolated, but who are in reality experiencing a level of richness that most people can only dream of. Welcome to Type 3, the inner alchemist. If you belong to this group, staying home isn't just about recharging a dead battery, and it isn't about hiding from a scary world. For you, staying home is an active, creative, and deeply intentional choice. While the rest of the world is suffering from FOMO, the fear of missing out, you have mastered the art of JOMO, the joy of missing out. You see, for the inner alchemist, the external world, with all its flashing lights and surface-level conversations, is actually quite thin. It's loud, but it lacks resonance. When you choose to stay in on a Saturday night, you aren't doing nothing. You are engaging in the most important work a human being can do. You are cultivating a relationship with yourself. Think back to our metaphor of the deep sea diver. Most of society is content splashing around in the shallow waves of the shore. It's sunlit, it's social, and it's safe. But you crave the pressure. You crave the silence of the depths. When you are alone in your room, with the door shut and the world silenced, the bandwidth of your mind finally opens up. Without the constant interruption of other people's energy and opinions, your own thoughts finally have room to breathe. This is where the magic happens. Psychologists have found that people who genuinely enjoy solitude tend to have what is called high internal stimulation. Your inner world is so vivid, so complex, and so entertaining that you don't need a crowded bar to feel stimulated. You can spend 3 hours lost in a book, or deep in a thought spiral about the universe, or meticulously working on a hobby that no one else will ever see, and feel more alive than if you were at the wildest party on earth. History is filled with inner alchemists. The greatest poets, the most visionary scientists, they found them in the sacred vacuum of their own company. They understood that boredom is not an enemy to be avoided. It is the fertile soil in which brilliance grows. By staying home, you are giving yourself permission to be a human being instead of a human doing. You are allowing your subconscious to process the thousands of micro-traumas and observations you've collected throughout the week. You are turning the lead of daily stress into the gold of self-awareness. When you look at your favorite spot on the couch, you don't see a place to rot. You see an altar to your own peace. You find genuine soul-level joy in small rituals that others rush past. The specific way the steam rises from your tea, the shadows dancing on the wall at sunset, the profound comfort of a silence that doesn't need to be filled with small talk. You aren't missing out on life. You are experiencing life at a higher resolution. You are choosing depth over noise and peace over performance. You have realized that the most interesting person you will ever meet is the one staring back at you in the mirror when everyone else has already gone home. So, the next time someone asks why you're staying in again, you don't need to apologize. You aren't being a hermit. You are being an alchemist. You are busy building a kingdom inside your mind that is so beautiful you simply don't want to leave. So, what is actually happening inside our brains when we choose the sanctuary of our homes? Why does the click of a door lock feel like a physical release of tension? To understand this, we have to look at the tug-of-war between two very different parts of our biology. When we are out in the world, navigating crowds and social expectations, our amygdala is often on high alert. This tiny almond-shaped part of our brain is designed to detect threats. In a modern context, a threat isn't a predator. It's a sudden loud noise, a judgmental look from a stranger, or the pressure to perform in a conversation. This keeps our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight mode, simmering just below the surface. We are constantly, even if we don't realize it, in a state of mild stress. But the moment we step back into our restorative niche, a profound shift occurs. Our brain signals the parasympathetic nervous system to take over. This is the rest and digest mode. In this state, our heart rate slows, our cortisol levels drop, and something beautiful happens in our prefrontal cortex. This is the seat of our higher reasoning, our complex emotions, and our most profound creative ideas. Think of your prefrontal cortex like a master artist. It can't work in a construction zone. It needs a quiet studio. When we are at home, the noise of the world stops competing for our attention. This is why we often have our best ideas while doing nothing on the couch or staring out the window. We aren't being unproductive. We are finally giving our highest level of intelligence the silence it needs to function. Remember our metaphor of the deep-sea diver. The world sees the silence of the depths as emptiness. They see our lack of movement as laziness, but they don't see the pressure of the ocean being transformed into clarity. They don't see the internal bioluminescence of our thoughts that only glows in the dark. This leads us to the great reframe. We need to stop seeing our love for staying home as a retreat from life. Instead, we must start seeing it as a commitment to a different kind of life. In a world that is increasingly shallow, choosing to stay home is an act of rebellion. It is a choice to prioritize quality over quantity. It is the realization that one deep conversation with yourself or one evening of true, unhurried rest is worth more than 100 nights of superficial noise. We are not missing out on the world. We are carefully curating the world we choose to inhabit. We are building a fortress of peace in a time of chaos. We are the architects of our own tranquility. As we end this journey today, I want you to look around your room. Look at the shadows on the wall, the books on your shelf, the comfort of your bed. This isn't just a place where you sleep. This is the lab where your soul is refined. This is the garden where your most authentic self grows, far away from the harsh light of public scrutiny. So, which type did you resonate with today? Are you the battery saver, siphoning peace to face the world tomorrow? Are you the control architect, building a sanctuary of safety? Or are you the inner alchemist, turning your solitude into a rich internal gold? Whatever your reason, remember this. You don't owe the world your presence every hour of every day. You don't have to be seen to exist. Sometimes the most important journey you will ever take is the one that leads you right back to your own front door. If you found comfort in this perspective, if you finally feel like your boring Friday night has a scientific purpose, hit that subscribe button. We are building a community of people who value depth over noise, and we'd love to have you in our circle, even if we only ever meet in the comments. Stay home, stay deep, and most importantly, stay true to the rhythm of your own heart. We will see you in the next one.